Hello guys, once again it's Matt, and today we have another video. Thank you all the members, all the patrons. Make sure to subscribe guys, and let's get into it. So we are going to talk about MAWS systems. What is a MAWS system? Do we have it in the game? We do. And we will see in aircraft, fixed wing aircraft in the future. So yeah, the MAWS systems are basically missile approach warning systems. They're systems made to actually detect in some form that we are going to talk about missiles that are coming to you to destroy you and let the pilot know, and also normally integrated with another type of computer system that will deploy automatically the flares and chaff and the pilot together with the pilot to actually be able to turn and do the acceptable maneuvers that it needs to actually avoid the missile. So it is a very, very complex system, and it is a system that it was only done like in the 80s onwards, basically. It has some older systems like the Su-24, for example. It actually basically used the Su-24M in the 80s, actually used such a system, an IR-based kind of system. Apparently, the Russians also had other types of minor systems like radar guidance and other things like that that can actually detect missiles and use to actually be avoidable, and we are going to talk about them. But it is a very modern thing. It needs a lot of computing power normally. It needs a lot of very good sensors to actually detect such a small target that it is a missile. And yeah, the idea it is just to improve the capabilities of an aircraft to actually extend a little bit of its survivability together with a very good RWR, right? So it's a defense system to be able to properly avoid missiles. That's the main thing. Okay, guys? So we have many types of systems. In the game, we basically only have them in the helicopters, in very modern helicopters. They even deploy flares and chaff automatically when they detect something coming up. But in aircraft, in fixed wing aircraft, we don't have it yet. There are two aircraft that can receive it in the game, that are in the game right now. So the Harrier GR7, for example, and also the Mirage 2000C, apparently it has it as well. They have automatic systems that would deploy flares and chaff depending on the situation and whenever it detects something or not. So yeah, very, very good systems, and let's talk about them a bit. So we have basically three types of MAWS systems. We have the pulse Doppler based, the infrared based, and the ultraviolet based. The pulse Doppler, obviously, it's radar. So you use a radar to actually detect an incoming target towards you. It is needed as a very good, and it needs to be a very good radar because it's such a small target, right? There are goods and bads about using each types of these systems, as I'm going to say. For example, the radar, it can measure the distance and the speed of approaching missiles. So yeah, it's pretty good. Missile doesn't need to be burning or anything like that, which is a problem for IR and ultraviolet UV MAWS systems, right? And it is just less sensitive to weather conditions. But it has some problems as well. Obviously, it needs to be careful with its vulnerability because it is emitting radio radiation, so anything can detect it as well. Small targets such as manpads, stingers, stuff like that, it can be difficult to detect it because they are missiles. These missiles are very small, and also it can receive false alarms by other radar sources as well. So yeah, it is very good, but it is very bad at the same time. So it is using a radar to detect a very small target. So if the target is really small, like a manpad, it can be a problem. But the good part about this radar system is that it can actually be used to detect a target that it's on your 6 and fire a missile in 180 degrees. So we can have examples like the Su-27M, Su-37, and even the Su-35, I think today can do such a thing. Many aircraft can do, but still It is a thing that was developed in the late 80s by the Soviets that could be a very, very interesting thing, especially with the R-73M that they added in the late 80s to the arsenal of the Sukhoi. So it would be a very, very capable back in the day, right? But it has its problems, as I said. It has some interferences, especially with other radar sources, and you are basically telling everybody where you are, right? We have the IR-based MAWS systems that basically are using the infrared being emitted from a rocket of the missile to actually detect the missile is coming towards you. So it has some problems and some goods. The good part is that it is it's cheaper, obviously, and it's just a little bit better to detect smaller targets than the radar one. But it has many problems. So one of them is clutter. Obviously, IR is filled in the Earth. So if it's flying low, if it's flying near the sun, for example, anything like that that has clutter, the IR MAWS system will have a lot of trouble. And also inside clouds or rain or anything like that, obviously IR is a very bad thing against to be used in like low weather conditions, right? So as you know from War Thunder, if you try to fire an IR missile inside the clouds, it doesn't work, because basically the water basically particles change the frequency of the IR light, right? So it is problematic. Then we have the UV-based MAWS systems, which are a little bit more advanced, so they don't have the false alarms with the clutter, with ground and sun compared to the IR, but still you need to have the missile burning. If the missile is stopped burning, it stops detecting it. So it can, while it's burning, it can calculate an impact point and give you with a lot of computing power, but still it needs to just have the missile burning to actually see the missile. Something that the radar doesn't have a trouble with it, and the infrared has a trouble with it, but not so much, because if the missile is flying really fast, it can detect the infrared light that it's actually coming from the heating of the missile. The UV cannot do that, so it would have a problem as well. But overall, the UV is the most advanced one. It has this little problem of the missile needs to be burning, but everything else is pretty much okay. So yeah, we have these three types of MAWS systems that can detect using some kind of sensor. If the missile is coming towards you, it will say to you, it will say to the RWR, and basically let you know, and basically it will deploy flares automatically. Hopefully this thing is added soon for more aircraft, if more aircraft that have it gets added. As I said, some Sukhois can have it, some F-15s, F-16s, F-22s, if the future is coming, A-10s, of course the later flankers as well, MiGs and whatever. I mean, basically anything in today's arsenal of any military that has a 4++ or 4+ generation aircraft will probably have some kind of MAWS system. So it is a very, very OP system. The first time I heard about these systems, I was like, oh my god, this is so OP. So yeah, it is. I mean, basically everybody has it, one type of system like that. France, Israel, Japan, Russia, the UK, Italy, the US, Germany has an infrared one. Basically everything. Everybody has, even Sweden and South Africa has one UV type of system like that. So a lot of countries use this, and it is a very, very welcome addition. Hopefully it's added for the Mirage and the Harrier GR7 and whatever aircraft has that and it's added to the game. But anyway, let me know in the comments if you think the MAWS systems are very cool or not, if you think that they are coming or not. And I see you guys on the next one. Make sure to subscribe, and bye guys. See you.